Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, you're welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe before you go and turn on the bell. Thank you so much. So in the last update about my art nose, Malhar wanted to get the truth out of Sampada and he put a mic secretly on Sampada's sari so that he can be hearing everything she will be saying. And then Malhar, Satak and Rachit engaged in a competition, and at the end of the day, Satak won the competition. Let's continue from there. Karyani tells Anupriya that it is good that Satak and Anupriya have won and they will spend the night in the canopy tonight. Anupriya says no and says that who will stay with Karyani. Karyani asks her not to take tension and says she has made arrangements to spend the night somewhere else. Karyani asks Anupriya to enjoy the time with Satak. She says she did not expect Malhar to accept Sampada so soon and says it is good that they are uniting for Moksh, but I have a weird feeling. How did he change his feelings? Sampada asks Rachit to stop Malhar's transfer, else everyone will know everything. Malhar hears them on his headphone and says to himself why they both have blackmailed Karyani. Sampada says I will tell Malhar that you gave me money so that I can live my life happily. She says I will also tell him about Moksh. Rachit keeps his hand on her mouth and asks her to keep her mouth shut. Rachit says even the wars have ears. I will use my source and stop this transfer. Till then, close your mouth, else the game will be over. Malhar is shocked and takes Moksh away from there. He asks why your mother left us and says she might have told you everything. He says I wish you could speak and says I will bring your Karyani, your mother, back. Riddhi tells Satak that she really enjoyed well and she knew that she will make that uncle lose. Satak is sad. Riddhi asks why are you sad? Satak says I remember the old friend and goes. Riddhi thinks that her father needs a friend. She checks the message on his phone in which it is written that if you are single, then message and send address. Riddhi sent the address and thinks that her father will never be sad. Rachit comes to Karyani and says I couldn't win, although I tried a lot. He says my love doesn't need competition. I will prove it. He asks her to wear it and says you will look beautiful. Karyani is about to throw it, but she stops saying Malhar. Malhar says Karyani's new husband brought diamond for her and says she doesn't like it. Karyani says diamond is a girl's best friend and says she likes it and says you haven't brought anything for me. Malhar gets cough and goes inside the room. Rachit says I know you have accepted this necklace as Malhar was here. He asks her to come and sleep in his room and says I will not cross my limit. Karyani comes outside Malhar's room and sees him searching for cough syrup. Malhar goes. Karyani comes inside and talks to Pilu, saying that she won't let anything happen to him. She asks him to take care of himself and his father and gives Pilu the cough syrup. She hears Malhar coming and she runs out. Malhar comes back and finds the cough syrup. He sees Karyani hiding and thinks that the windows and the wall cannot hide from me. He says I am going out and goes. Karyani climbs down the balcony. Moksh waves his hand to signal bye to Karyani. Karyani smiles. Satak asks Malhar why did he decide to stay with Sampada. Malhar says I have decided. Satak reminds Malhar that Sampada gave him a big betrayal. Sampada comes there with Laddoo and hears them. Malhar says uncle. Sampada says it is okay. I understand. She asks Malhar to have the same Laddoo and asks him to finish it all. Malhar put the Laddoo in his mouth and asks Sampada to go and feed Moksh. Sampada looks at Malhar eating the Laddoo and goes. Sampada comes to Moksh and says drink milk and sleep silently. She says I am like your mother Karyani. She says Malhar has to come near me as I have added sleeping pills in all the Laddoos. Malhar takes out the Laddoos from his mouth and checks inside and finds the medicine. He thinks that he knows Sampada well. Malhar takes the Laddoos out to throw it, but he leaves one Laddoo by mistake. Satak comes there and eats the leftover Laddoo. Rachit talks to Sampada and tells her that Karyani is not understanding his love and she is hiding somewhere. He says he wants her to show some effort towards him. Karyani tells Atav and Anupriya that she will hide in the grass house. She asks Anupriya to enjoy the evening with Satak. Satak comes out of the house and gets a call that she got a message from him. Satak asks now and gives his address. He started feeling dizzy and comes to the canopy. A lady is sitting in the canopy and gets up seeing him coming. The girl says she is Pooja. Satak says he is married and asks her to go. She says if I come from far, then I will benefit something. Anupriya comes there and she is shocked to see Satak with the lady. Ataf tells Moksh that he knows where his mother is hiding, and she is hiding from that bad uncle. Sampada hears him and calls Rachit. Kayani is in the grass hut in the outhouse when someone knocks on the door. She asks who is here and thinks if Rachit came to know that I am hiding here. Kayani is in the grass hut in the outside. Someone knocks on the door. Kayani asks who has come. She thinks if Rachit came to know that I am hiding here. She takes the rod and walks towards the door asking who is there. She is about to open the door when the knocking sound stops. Kayani thinks that why did Rachit stop suddenly? Just then the electricity is off. She asks Rachit not to be oversmart and calls his name. She sees someone jumping in the outhouse through the window. She calls Rachit's name and asks him not to be oversmart and says she will eat him. The guy holds the rod and he is none other than Malhar, and a song plays in the background. Kayani looks at Malhar. Malhar hangs the lantern and throws the rod away. He looks at her and draws her closer to him and says so much love with new husband. You waited for him and lifted a weapon in your hand. He holds her closer. Kayani asks Malhar to leave her. Malhar says your tongue might be lying to me, but your big eyes tell me everything. Malhar says to Kayani that if you are scared that your new husband will come here, then he will not come. He thinks that it is good that I heard Sampada talking to Rachit. A flashback is shown. Sampada talks to Rachit and asks him to stop drinking and come home, as she came to know where his brand new wife is hiding. Malhar hears Sampada and calls Pavar asking him to get Rachit arrested. The flashback ends. Malhar tells Kayani that her husband is behind the bars, so he will not trouble her. Kayani smiles and then asks why. What did you do with him? Malhar says I didn't do anything as he was arrested for drunk and driving. He says your eyes cannot lie to me, as happiness is reflecting in your eyes. Kayani says Malhar, leave me. Malhar is closer to her. Kayani asks him to leave her and says the truth is that Rachit and I had planned to spend the night here, and you have ruined it all. Malhar says that is why you are crying. He asks her to say it clearly that she is missing him. Kayani wipes her tears and turns to him. She says she did not miss him and she wants to clear all his memories from her heart. She says whatever moment we have shared, I want to wipe it all. Your face, your voice and smell. I want to wipe everything. She says even your touch. She says just now you touched me. I want to clear it out. Malhar cries. Kayani takes the water pot and pours water on herself. She gets drenched in the water and rubs her hand on her body. Malhar comes near her and asks her how she will separate their soul, which is one now. Kayani says yes, I will. I will clear Malhar Rani's name from my life. Malhar says do it. Kayani pushes him and goes out of the outhouse. Malhar breaks the pot and grass house. Sampada searches for Malhar and sees Kayani coming out drenched in water. She gets furious and hears shouting angrily. Satak is drowsy and is very close to the lady. Anupriya is shocked. Satak sees Anupriya and says you are thinking wrong. The lady asks if Satak called her hiding from his wife. Satak asks her to take the money and go from there. The lady takes the money and keeps it in her purse. Malhar talks to Moksh and says your father is trying to know the truth and to bring your mother back. But your mother thinks that she is the world's best actor and says that he can feel her pain. Malhar asks Moksh not to worry and says I will bring your mother back. Malhar sings a song and a song plays in the background. Sampada comes there and asks Malhar to give Moksh to her. Malhar asks what did you make him eat? Sampada says she is taking him to eat food. Malhar asks why did Moksh sleep often and looks dull? Sampada says due to the weather and says that she is taking him to the hospital for checkup. She says Moksh likes to eat food with her nanny and takes him from Malhar. She smirks and goes. Malhar looks on. Satak asks Anupriya to believe him and says that he did not call the lady. The lady asks her to check his phone and messages and goes from there. Anupriya asks Satak not to touch her. She says she was fooled to come here and says why do I have hope from you? You always break my trust. Satak says I am not lying. Anupriya says if you wanted to say the truth, then you would have told me that you were married and you had a wife. Satak says I didn't marry anyone else. He says I got married to only you. Anupriya asks who is Riddhi then? Satak says Riddhi is not my daughter. I adopted her. He says even though I love her a lot, but I found her in. Riddhi hears him and gets shocked and hurt. She cries. Satak calls Riddhi and goes behind her. Sampada comes to Kayani and asks, what were you doing in the outhouse with Malhar? She asks, do you have any shame to get close to an unrelated man? She says he is my husband. Kayani pushes her on the floor and says it is not good to talk like that being such a woman. Sampada calls Rachit and asks him to talk to Kayani. Rachit tells Kayani that Malhar got him arrested, but he came out. He says, what am I hearing, that you were with Malhar in the outhouse, and asks her why. He says, you made me helpless, and asks her to check her phone, and says, I have sent the picture. Kayani sees Moksh picture and gets shocked. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it, and please subscribe to my channel for more updates. I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.